welcome everybody to the Jacob Gospel Podcast. Jacob and Brandy here, continuing on with the series of prioritizing your marriage. From last week, we talked a lot about priorities and, how to prioritize your marriage and all these things. But this week we want to just continue on with that and kind of lead into next week's podcast. So we're talking today. I specifically want to talk about work because work is important. We all have to work. We all should want to work because I view it as, we get to work. We don't have to work. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So really just a tip for life. You get to do everything in life. You don't have to do anything. You get to do it. So when you change that perspective, it changes your view on it where you can have gratitude for it rather than what's the word I'm looking for? Being boudade about going to work. Attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to have gratitude for it, not attitude for it. Yeah, I like it.
That's good.
So, thank you, Heidi. So, with that being said, men especially, God designed us to work, provide, protect our families, all that stuff. So we need to work. It's part of our DNA as a man, right? But we have to prioritize and balance that work with family time. So like you hear me talk a lot, hustle, 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 hustle. That doesn't mean hustle 24/7 and I'm never spending time with my family. It means if I'm going to work for 1 hour, for that 1 hour, you're not going to outwork me. I'm going to hustle harder and do more and I'm all in on that hour. And then when I'm off, I'm off. Like I'm done with it. The door is closed for work. So for those of you who work away, things like that, when you travel, you're at work. So you're going to work as much as you can work, get as much production as you can get done, or you should at least be doing that. That way, when you're home, you get to be off. You get to be off. And, none of us work all the same types of jobs and same types of hours. I mean, we own businesses and I've got to travel and then I'm home for long periods of time and gone for long periods of time. And it just working at night, sometimes sleeping in the day. So we all work different types of jobs. And what's funny is, hell, just the other day, I got confronted by a guy who I've been knowing my entire life. And he said, we had just left the gym. Brandy and I had just left the gym. We'll go and eat breakfast together. And the guy told me, he says, for a man, how do you say that? For a man to be wearing short pants, he must be doing pretty good. And I thought to myself, well, I think I am doing pretty good because one, I get to spend this time with my wife while I'm off because I had to go to work that night. But he meant it in a derogatory way because he meant it in a way that was like I should have been working because he was working at that time. But we work different hours, different jobs. We're totally different fields of work. Polar opposite industries.
Yeah. Just not the same.
Yeah. So, I could have let that affect me and be like, man, I'm a loser because I'm not working 24 hours a day. But, there's many times where like I have 8 hours in before the average person even wakes up in the morning. Not because I'm better than anybody, it's just the way that I work.
Yeah.
Sometimes my day starts at 1 a.m. Sometimes it starts at midnight. It's just different. But what I'm talking about is the off time, balancing that work. You got to be able to spend time with your family. So like it would be easy for me to go work the night and then sleep all day because I need to. And my wife would gladly, it is totally justified. You would not allow me to do it, but support me in doing it because I worked.
Mm-hmm.
But I think prioritizing the time with her is more important to me than the sleep, because I could sleep a little bit later when she needs to go get the kids or something. So you got to adjust your schedule to be able to accommodate that. What's your thoughts on that before I go too far with the family?
When we have our week ahead of us, we have choices. We can look at the week ahead and we can say, of course, we have work that we have to get done. We have priorities that we have to take care of. But we also have to remember that God gave us each other and He gave us daughters. So we have to make sure that we're taking care of them and each other before anything else. And work happens to be one of those anything else things. So yes, we have to do it. Yes, we have to pay bills. We want to be successful. We want to make money because then we can give and we can enjoy it. But if, I see people a lot of times who work is the top priority and sometimes the only priority. And they're not prioritizing their marriage. They're not prioritizing time with their kids. They are making all this money, but then they don't even enjoy it. Their mindset is, if you're not working, you're wasting time. But I don't see time with you that we were going to have breakfast. I didn't see that as wasting time. That was time well invested for me. When we go and we spend a weekend somewhere together, just the two of us, that is time well invested. It's not time wasted. And one day, our girls are going to move out. They're going to be grown and they're going to have their own families. So I want to enjoy the time that I have with them now. And the only way to do that is to prioritize my time with them. And, some moms choose to go to work every day. Some moms choose to stay home. I've done both. And right now I feel like at home, taking care of the girls, bringing them where they need to go, that's where God wants me. So I prioritize my life around that. And God also gave me you, so I prioritize my time with you above anything else, above the housework and chores and anything else that needs to get done. So it's all about, again, your priorities. You had to leave the day that we were talking about, you had to leave, I think, around 12. Mm-hmm. So there were other things that you could have done that morning, but you chose to come to the gym with me and then have breakfast with me. Mm-hmm. And I understand that some people may look at that and think, I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday.
Tuesday,
yeah. So, some people may look at it as, oh, he's not even at work. But what they don't realize is that you didn't come home from work until 9:00 that night.
Yeah,
so
10 o'clock, yeah.
Right. So we chose to spend our time together in the morning.
Yeah.
And because we do those things, I think we are successful. We are successful in making sure our family is happy and healthy and our marriage is happy and healthy. And that's basically the goal. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, because what's still talking about work, like what's having $1 million if you don't do anything with your family with it? Mm-hmm. Just you have it just to have it. Mm-hmm. It's pointless.
Right.
So you got to be able to do that. And I know, they have people, and I know we all know these people. And everything they do, they have to have like a reason to do it. So like if they go on a vacation somewhere, they have to tie something work into it mm-hmm. to justify going, because in their mind, that's wasting time. So if I tie something with work in it, well, then now it's justified to go and spend the time wherever it is that you got to go do.
Yeah. Instead of just saying, I'm going on this trip because I'm pouring into my family and I want to love all my people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do that, there's days where we stay home and do nothing. It's not, you don't have to go and spend money. This is not what I'm talking about. Like the vacations, it's not go and spend money. It's we take days off and like literally Like, just lock the doors
Just
and
stay home.
stay home, you know. We'll light the pit, let the kids go run outside, and just stay home and do nothing. On purpose, like doing nothing on purpose, like not doing other things with it, not justifying it. Like, the goal is to do absolutely nothing. But then, even if you do have money to go spend on vacations, go do that. Go do it. If you want to go do it, go do it.
Yes,
You don't
absolutely.
need a reason to go do that. Like, that's putting your family, that's prioritizing your family. And that time and the money that, if you can afford it, to go and spend on them, to spend that time and to have those experiences, that's priceless. And I believe that God blesses that. I truly do. I believe that God blesses that because, as a man and as a husband and as a father, God placed us in charge of the family. And so everything that we do is, it's all owned by God. And we're just the stewards of it. We're the managers of it. So if we have to do good with the things and the resources and all the everything provided to us by God, we have to steward that correctly. Well, our money is one, obviously. Our job, our work is one, businesses, all that. That's we got to do the right thing. But man, how much will we fail and disappoint God if we would not put our children and our wives first? Like, that's what He wants. Like, I mean, when you go anything back, now we're going to talk about the book. Remember, we talked about the book on marriage. So if you talk about the book on marriage and you go back in there, in the very beginning, it was all about family. It wasn't like, God didn't talk about businesses and making money and doing that. He was like, husbands, love your wives, and wives, support your husbands, and children, obey your parents. It was about the family. So if you don't place that, if your marriage is not the number one priority besides God, your relationship with God, man, you're going to have some trouble.
Yeah.
So the book that we're talking about is the Bible.
Right.
The people always talk about how, oh, there's no rule book on marriage. There's no rule book on parenting. There's no rule book on life. There is. It just, society has like driven us away from the Bible because they don't want to do the things that the Bible says to do because they want to have pleasure now. They want to be right, whatever it is the hell they want to do. But there is a rule book. And when you follow it, you can't mess up. Like, it's going to lead you right. And not that you can't mess up, you're going to mess up. But you can correct that by going back to the playbook on everything, really. Right. So with those vacations, with the work, with all of that, it all has to happen. But you don't need an excuse to do either one. Like you want to go to work, go to work. Don't make an excuse for it. If you want to take a vacation, take a vacation. Like, you don't have to explain that to anybody. So like that guy did to me, like, I don't remember him ever taking a vacation with his family unless they were like going do something work related. It had to be something. And
you hardly ever see him with his wife.
Never ever see him with his wife. Yeah, I never ever see them together at all. And it's a shame because, I mean, they're successful people. And if they would prioritize their marriage, their life would be a total, it'd be glorious. And not that they're not bad people. They're just, I feel like if going, again, not my judgment, going off the rule book, which is the Bible, priorities are out of order. And look, I have priorities out of order. I'm not trying to say I got mine all together. Trust me. You got yours all together? No? Heidi, you got yours all together? No,
everybody has different priorities because we're all different people. We're made and wired all differently.
Right.
So what's going to be a priority for me may not be a priority for you. One of my priorities at home is I like my house to be clean, so I make it a priority. I like my laundry to be done, all those things. You
Not a
don't
priority.
you really don't care about that. It's not a priority to you at all. So we're just different. Everybody's going to have different priorities. But I think, when people make excuses and they say, I don't have time, that just means
That wasn't a bomb.
that just means they choose to use their time somewhere else.
Right.
Or if somebody says, I can't afford that, well, that just means that the money that they do have, they allocate to something else. So it's all about how you prioritize it. And like you said, you don't have to do things, you get to do things. So you choose to do things, basically. I don't have to clean the house. I choose to. I get to because I enjoy having a clean house. So a lot of times I think it's all perspective. And society has a way of making us feel like we have to do things.
Yeah.
We have to buy certain things to keep up with the Joneses, but we really don't. We could probably not buy it, save the money, and take our kids on a little vacation. Or stay home, but take the time off of work and spend the time with your husband or your kids.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's all in your mind. It's all how you see things and you prioritize things.
If I'm hearing this right, if someone like the guy who told me was basically saying I should have been at work rather than eating with my wife,
right?
It just proves that I'm not wrong for having breakfast with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like, he's not wrong for working when he should be spending time with his wife, right? Is it different? We just have different priorities?
You just have a different priority. Your priority is different than his.
So the problem comes in when he thought that I should be doing what was a priority for him. Oh, got you. So neither one of us is really wrong.
No.
We have different priorities. Right?
That's right.
So keep that in mind as you're moving forward, because everybody's going to try to project what you should do. And it's based on their priorities, So like us, we're saying this and prioritizing marriage. If you prioritize marriage, well, then what we're just saying is what needs to happen. If you don't, then send this video to someone else who wants to prioritize their marriage, because this is probably not for you.
Right.
So, right, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
This is not for you.
Yeah, it's all what people value. That if you have a person who works all the time and all they want to do is work, they don't place much value on spending time with their family or with their kids, or they place the value on being busy or the money in their bank account.
Yeah.
That's what they place their value on. We see money as a means to spend with our family and give to others and all those things.
It's a tool.
It's just a tool. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Because I could go down a rabbit hole with this, but I'm not, because we're probably already out of time. So we're going to go ahead and close this down. So we thank you for watching the Jacob Gospel Podcast. And, we hope that we add value to you. We hope that you can share these videos and add value to the people in your lives by it. And ultimately, we hope that you take tidbits and apply them in your life and truly make some changes for the better. So, pick what works for you and share the video. So like us on all social media platforms, share the videos, and we appreciate having you here. We love each and every one of y'all, and we'll talk to y'all next week.